I'm Sherry Preston. Despite occasional lightning delays brought on by Tropical Storm Elsa, the job of finding victims in the Surfside condo collapse grinds on. ABC's Jim Ryan is there.
Working in 12-hour shifts, the rescue and recovery experts run a nonstop bucket brigade, carefully lifting and handing off what's left of Champlain Tower South. So far, says Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine Cava,
the teams have now removed over 4.8 million pounds of concrete from the pile.
In the 12 days since the condo collapsed, the crews have discovered on average 2 bodies per day. They expect to find many more. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Miami Beach.
Elsa now over the Florida Keys, expecting to hit Tampa likely tomorrow morning. This woman preparing.
We got the notification that we could get sandbags, and we're right on some water, so we just want to do everything that we can at this point.
Pope Francis now in recovery from a scheduled colorectal surgery. Joshua McCackle is the National Catholic Reporter's Vatican consultant, says he should be up and about with moderation in a week or so.
What it sounds like is the Pope will have to change his diet significantly going forward. I've read some reports saying he might not be able to eat meat or eat certain types of food from now on.
An 11-year-old boy is dead. His brother recovering in the hospital after a tragic accident at a Ventureland amusement park outside Des Moines, Iowa. This woman's children were on the ride only a few minutes before.
I'm speechless because just knowing that it was so close with how it happened and where it happened, like it was just knowing that it's 11-year-old, it just breaks me.
The raft where the boys were on with their father flipped over. They couldn't get out from under it, according to the family. The country not hitting the 4th of July goal of having 70% of adults fully vaccinated by the 4th of July. About 64% of adults have gotten both COVID shots. Hospitalizations starting to go up in places where vaccination rates are low. This is ABC News.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
Shock across the NHL after the death of a young player. ABC's Andrea Fuji.
The NHL starting Game 4 of the Stanley Cup with a moment of silence for goalie Matiss Kivlenieks.
We extend our deepest sympathies to his family, friends, and teammates.
Kivlenieks killed by fireworks, according to authorities, after a 4th of July celebration turned deadly.
He made some highlight reel saves on some star players.
Kivlenieks, a goaltender for the Columbus Blue Jackets who made his debut in 2020. Police say the 24-year-old was at a private gathering Sunday night when a mortar-style firework tilted downward and shot towards a group of people in a hot tub.
Kivlenieks tried to get out of the way but was hit in the chest. Investigators say it appears to be a tragic accident. Search teams have now found the wreckage of a plane that crashed in the eastern edge of Russia today. ABC's Patrick Reevell has more on the story.
The passenger flight with 28 people on board disappeared from radar as it came into land at a remote village on the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia's Far East, nearly 4,000 miles from Moscow. The Soviet-built Antonov 26 was flying from Kamchatka's regional capital to the village Palana.
All 28 people, 22 passengers, and 6 crew are presumed dead. Officials at the Denver Zoo are going to start giving COVID shots to animals. The vaccination program with primates and carnivores at the top of the list set to start next week. This is ABC News.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Call Total Financial now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the rest.
It's going to be a hot and sticky one out there today with highs in the lower 90s, and overnight will fall into the upper 60s with clouds increasing. All of the cloud cover that we're going to see for tomorrow will be associated with what is now Tropical Storm Elsa that's inching closer and closer to Florida. We're going to see a small chance for a few passing showers on Wednesday afternoon with highs in the lower 90s, but showers and thunderstorm activity associated with Elsa will move in on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Looks like we are going to have one more day of this beautiful weather from the weekend. Today's going to be mostly sunny with highs around 91, but all the rain and the thunderstorm possibilities approaches by tomorrow night and Thursday night. And it's shaping up to be another beautiful weekend here in the foothills on Saturday with highs around 92 and only partly cloudy skies. Great weather right now we can brag about, right? Glad to have this beautiful weather here in the summertime, 65 degrees. And welcome back after a long, full, busy weekend. I hope you had a great time and enjoyed yourself and stayed safe. Now I have these death announcements. Ginger Paget Guy, age 58 of Forest City, died Wednesday, June 30th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. A service to celebrate her life will be held on Saturday, July 24th at 11 o'clock at the First Baptist Church of Forest City. The family will receive friends following the service at the church. Burial will be private for the family in Cool Springs Cemetery. Again, that's Ginger Paget Guy of Forest City. Paget at King Mortuary serving the family. Hilda Elizabeth Duckworth Beard was born July 4th and died June 18th in Rutherford at Oakland Living Center. A celebration of Elizabeth's life will be conducted at 11 o'clock in the Fellowship Hall of Rutherford Presbyterian Church on Saturday, July 10th, and the family will receive friends at 10 o'clock prior to the service. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Hilda Elizabeth Duckworth Beard. James Lonnie Proctor, age 83, passed away Friday, July 2nd at Holly Springs Senior Home. The funeral service will be conducted at 3 p.m. today at Crow's Mortuary. The family will receive friends following the service. Mr. Proctor would lie in state 30 minutes prior to the service. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of James Lonnie Proctor. Edward Wheeler, age 86 of Ellenboro, died Friday, July 2nd. Those arrangements are pending and will be announced by the Paget A. King Mortuary and Crematory for Edward Wheeler. Joanne Teresa Ranta, age 66 of Spindale, passed away July 4th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. No service is scheduled at this time, and Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Joanne Teresa Ranta of Spindale. Fred Herman Towery, 80 of Broadway, North Carolina, formerly of Sunshine, died Saturday, July 3rd at Liberty Commons of Lee County. A graveside service will be conducted at 1 o'clock July 6th tomorrow at Sunshine United Methodist Church Cemetery. Washington and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Services in charge of the arrangements for Fred Herman Towery. Dale Steve Reese, age 59 of Rutherfordton, passed away July 2nd at Adrium Health of Shelby. Those arrangements are incomplete and will be announced later by Backmahan's Funeral Home and Cremation Services. And again, that's Dell Steve Rees. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others as they become available to us, can be heard today at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on the most information for the Foothills, 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB in Rutherfordton. Well, the Braves had a bad day yesterday against the Pirates. Pirates beat them 11-1. Now they go at it again this evening. It's a 7:05 first pitch, and we'll have that game for you live here on WCAB. Stand by now for the Bill O'Reilly Morning Update.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. They are a 15-year industry leader who have seen it all. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
On this Tuesday, if you go to my website, BillO'Reilly.com, and I hope you do, we have a concierge membership program. If you sign up, you get direct access to me by email, private email. And if I can answer any questions, political questions, social questions, whatever it may be, I will. If I can help you with personal situations, I will. And everything, as I said, is confidential. Because I get so many questions, I know a very important thing about life, and I'm going to share it with you right now. In order to succeed, you need 3 elements in your life. Number 1, a good doctor who cares about you. Number 2, a good lawyer. Not easy to find, but you are going to have situations where you need legal advice. And finally, an honest financial analyst who can advise you on how to invest and spend your money. So, if you do not have those things, look hard. Now this. Thousands of abandoned animals in the USA need your help. Delta Rescue, founded by actor Leo Grillo, the largest no-kill care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. Their trained staff take animals in, provide them with food, water, treats, and affection. And your donation may be eligible to help lower your taxes. So please visit deltarescue.org/Bill now. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
WCAB, the music's on us.
What can I possibly do to make this stressful time a little better? Here's one thing I found. It's a small thing, a simple thing, a remarkable thing. Smile. You can share a smile from more than 6 feet apart. You can share it socially with the whole world. In fact, right now, I'm smiling at you. And I hope you're smiling back, because smiling is in you. From PassItOn.com.
Samuel Clemens started work as a painter. Feeling that occupation wasn't exciting, he became an apprentice riverboat pilot on the Mississippi River. Then in 1861, his brother Orrin was appointed the secretary to the territorial governor of Nevada, and Clemens decided to accompany his brother out west. Like many a man looking for adventure and wealth, Clemens spent time in Nevada prospecting for gold and silver, and like many a man, he was unsuccessful. Being without money and food, on July 6, 1862, Samuel Clemens got a job as a reporter for the Virginia City Territorial Enterprise. During this time, it was the in thing for reporters to write under a pen name. For his name, Samuel Clemens went back to his days on the Mississippi River. Because the depth of the Mississippi was inconsistent, riverboat people would regularly mark the depth of the water. When the depth was 2 fathoms, the men would cry out, "Mark Twain!" Samuel Clemens, or Mark Twain as he is now known, bloomed as a writer. He was sent to California to report on the growth there. From his experiences, he wrote his first published work of fiction, The Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calabasas County. After 5 years in the West, Mark Twain returned to Buffalo, New York. Although in 1872 he wrote an account of his Western adventures entitled Roughing It, all of his other works focused on the Northeast. However, were it not for his experiences in the Old West, he may have spent the rest of his life on the Mississippi River as Samuel Clemens. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
For a rootin' tootin' great meal, let Jesse James prepare your next lunch. He's got a menu chock full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, and onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesdays and Sundays. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. Call 447-4644. And don't forget the 99-cent hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions on Mondays only.
That's a rootin' tootin' good deal. 16 minutes after 7 o'clock on this terrific Tuesday morning. Glad you're back from your weekend-long vacation. Let's check in now with Sheriff Chris Francis, find out what's been going on in our absence over the past few hours. Good morning, Sheriff. How are you doing?
I am doing well this morning. I hope you are, Jim.
I am doing very well. I hope you had some time off over the weekend.
I did have some good family time, and with Independence Day being on Sunday, had a good service and able to reflect on our freedoms. It was really a good weekend.
It's a great thing. Tell us what's been going on over the Sheriff's Department.
Jim, the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 116 calls for service. There have been 14 arrests processed at county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 189. Among those arrested, Brian Franklin Moore, 48-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with driving while license revoked, no insurance, and possession of meth, received a $5,000 unsecured bond. Mitchell Joseph Martin, 38-year-old of Rutherford, was charged with domestic violence protective order and obstructed justice. He was already incarcerated. We'll see a district court judge for these new charges for more bond. Eric Joshua Withrow, 38-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with failure to appear and received a $10,000 secure bond. Roy Stephen Buff, 30-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with resist, obstruct, delay, assault on a female, communicating threats, and a separate resist, obstruct, delay. He'll see a district court judge for some of the bond and receive $10,000 for one of the resist, obstruct, delays. Brandon Scott Williams, 29-year-old male of Mooresboro, was charged with 9 counts of failure to appear and possession of meth, received a $20,000 secure bond. Carly Danielle McNeely, 27-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with assault and communicating threats, received a $1,500 unsecured bond. Among our incidents, we had a break-in, enter, and larceny on Old Main Street in Mooresboro. There was a case of electric brushes valued at $1,200 and a boat trolling motor that was also taken in this incident. We also had a B&E and larceny to a storage unit. This occurred on US 221 South sometime since December of last year. There was a black iron patio set valued at $300, a train set valued at $100, and a vintage glass antiques valued at $100 that were taken as well. We had a larceny on South Church Street in Mooresboro. There was a Springfield 9mm valued at $400 that was taken. The victim had allowed an acquaintance to come in and spend the night. It was a relative, a friend of hers, and unfortunately, when that person left, so did this Springfield 9mm. And Jim, that's what we had to report at this time.
All right, Sheriff. Thank you very much for that report, and I hope you continue to be safe out there, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you, Jim. Take care.
Yeah, bye-bye. And we'll have the Sheriff's Report aired again this morning at about 8:20. And then in the afternoon report, we air it again. If you missed all of it, you can catch it then.
Imagine an object of striking beauty with a breathtaking design that grabs your attention and holds you in suspense. It draws you in with an innovative boost of dreams and $100,000 cash power. New Corvette in cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with a top prize of a 2021 Corvette Stingray and $100,000 cash. The ride of your dreams is waiting. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.25. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
All right, we're checking in now with Jessica over 911 Communications Center, and she has our report today. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's on that report today, Jessica?
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 413 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 45 EMS calls, 27 for rescue. Law enforcement Sheriff's Office responded to 116, Forest City to 51, Lake Lure to 12, Rutherford to 37, Spindale to 55. Fire calls, Forest City responded to industrial fire alarm, Rutherford responded to a residential fire alarm, and SDA responded to a motor vehicle accident. And that's all we've got today.
Thanks so much, Jessica. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Checking in now with the Danieltown SDO Fire District. Ruby Taylor's on the phone to give us an update. Good morning, Ruby.
Good morning.
What's on the report?
Well, the fire department had one call, and that was to a vehicle accident. And on my birthday counter, I've got Marty Roper, Pat Millwood, and Dot James having birthday today, and hope these people have a nice day, and the signs are in the arms today and tomorrow. And Jim, that's all I got.
All right, Ruby, thank you. Have a good one.
You're welcome, and bye.
Bye. I'm happy to share good news with you. If you have a septic tank on your property, you'll be glad to know there is a new professional pumper in town, Mid-South Pumping, owned and operated by one of our own, John Torvinen. Mid-South Pumping serves local communities such as Rutherford, Polk, Cleveland, McDowell, and Lake Lure, offering a wide variety of services at affordable prices. Get it done before summer gets here and really gets bad, if you know what I mean. Mid-South Pumping offers around-the-clock services to ensure your business doesn't become everyone else's. Count on Mid-South Pumping for pumping septic tanks, locating services, uncovering septic tank lids, and more. Make that call to Mid-South Pumping in Rutherfordton at 828-755-6280. You won't find a better family-run business than Mid-South Pumping to do business with. Why don't you check them out? If your septic needs pumping, that's the company to call. Now we're heading up toward the Fairfield Mountains Fire District in the Bills Creek community, and Gary Wilson survived July 4th celebration and all the food and all the fireworks. Good morning, Gary.
That's about 40 down and not 40 to go, but maybe a few more to go, hopefully. Yeah, it had a busy weekend. It was a good weekend. It was a large crowd, but nothing unmanageable and no serious incidents. And everybody seemed to be having a good time, and kids enjoyed the fire truck rides, and felt more like the 4th of July for a change.
Good.
And I think we had 4 or 5 calls over the weekend, but they were all pretty much of a minor nature, and got through that okay. And sitting on about 65 degrees this morning, sun out, and the world's looking good so far this morning.
I like that. I
do too. But other than that, everything else is going on pretty good, Jim.
All right, Gary, thanks so much. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, you have a good day.
All right, bye-bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Ludlow Fire District is where we're stopping next, and that's where we'll find Bob Hodge. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good Tuesday morning.
Welcome to the day after all the activities and the fun times over the Independence Day. Did you have a good day?
Yeah, we had a good one, and it seems quiet today after all the fireworks weekend there, so quieting down a little bit up here. So.
Got a little noisy over there the other night, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, over the weekend. I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all over there. Shooting fireworks all over the place around. Yeah. But things are going along good up here, Jim, so far this morning. And with the fire department, we hadn't had any calls overnight, so that's good. And so usually sort of short after the holiday weekend. Things are running along quiet so far this morning up here.
Good. Maybe everybody's tired.
Well, maybe so. A lot of them went back to work this morning.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I'm glad things are quiet over there, Bob, and I hope it stays that way. And thanks for talking with us, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, Jim.
Thanks, Bob.
Bye-bye.
25 minutes after 7 o'clock and 65 degrees here in beautiful downtown Whiteside Road. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Come take advantage of the springtime sales event and get the automobile you've been wanting. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Braves tonight on the radio against Pittsburgh Pirates. 7:05 first pitch, and we'll join the pregame following News 13 at 6. Right now we're going over to the Cherry Mountain Fire District and talk with Sue Price and see how things are going. Sue, I heard you were really shooting the fireworks over there the other night.
We had good many going off around. I know we didn't get to see any, but we could hear them for a long time.
Yeah.
I hope everybody had a good 4th. It was really nice. We had good weather, and that was good. Well, let's see. I have no calls from the fire department. I have one birthday on my church calendar for Clifford Tony, so hope Clifford's going to have a good day. Nothing on my personal calendar today. And Fairview doesn't have anything. And First Broad's got an anniversary for Steve and Judy Brackett, so we hope they'll have a good day on their anniversary. And if anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And in my announcements, the Piney Mountain Boys will be at Duncan's Creek on the 25th during the worship service. And so far, that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over this way, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Tim.
Thanks, Sue. I hope you do, too, and I will see you tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 28 minutes after 7 o'clock on this terrific Tuesday morning report as we continue to circle the county this morning.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
All right, we're ready to go to the drop-in now, the Family Mart there in Boston, and talk with Jessica this morning and see how she survived the July 4th holiday. Jessica, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Did you get some time off?
Well, I did Friday. I took my daughter to back to the doctor in Chapel Hill, so I had a little bit of time off.
Is she doing okay?
She is. She's doing real good. She had cochlear implants put in, and they turned them on this past Friday, and she can finally hear us, and it was really, really, yes.
Fantastic.
It was really, really, yes, very fantastic. Everybody come on down to the drop-in family market this morning. I am serving breakfast. A lot of people have been calling in to see if we were open. Yes, we are open. The store's open and the deli is open. Meat department's open. I had breakfast this morning, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, liver mush biscuits. If you don't want it on biscuit, we can put it on toast, white bread, bun, whatever your choice is, we have. We do have a little special going on. You can get any type of biscuit, like a sausage biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese, liver mush, and you can get a small order of hash browns for only 99 cents. So come down and see me this morning. We have Sloppy Joe's for our specials today. You can get the sandwich for $2.49, or you can get the sandwich and 4 wedges for $3.99. So if you like Sloppy Joe's, come down and see us today. The truck will come in tomorrow morning, so we'll have fresh produce, milk, all of the your necessity needs. We should have today, but if we don't, first thing in the morning we will have. Just remember, our hours are Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., and then on Sundays the deli's closed, but the store is open from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. We are still accepting applications. We are still hiring. I'm pretty sure, I think she might need someone up front for the cashier. If for some reason we are not hiring, that doesn't mean that the other drop-ins ain't. So go fill your application out on Main Street, Forest City at the office, or some of the drop-ins do have applications on site, so you might can just walk in the store and ask for an application, fill it out, and hand it back to the manager.
Let's go back to work, folks. Let's go back to work.
Yes.
All right, Jessica.
We're needing it.
Need some help.
Yes.
Well, keep serving those wedges. I understand the KFC's dropped the wedges and gone to just fries, so you may
heard about that.
You may be the only one doing the wedges now, so keep it up.
All righty, we
People
will.
I'll talk to you on Thursday.
All righty, thank you. I hope you have a good day.
Bye. 7:32. That's Drop-In Family Mart there in Bostic, and nice to talk to those folks. Know they're still active and still at them, serving good food to a lot of good folks.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesmen at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
And we're moving up the line now, checking in our other sources for deals this morning. And I believe next we're going over to Shingle Hollow. And Tina White's on the phone with me right now. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning, Jim. Did you have a great 4th?
I did. I had a real good one. I just sort of did my thing around the house, and it was enjoyable.
Did you see your great-grandbaby?
I absolutely did. Yesterday I got to hold that little booger. And I held him in my arms, and I declare, I believe I heard a little baby say peepaw.
He's already saying
he's precious. He's precious. Yeah,
there's nothing like the children. That's for sure.
Like little cuddly babies.
Mm-mm. Well, in Shingle Hollow, it's beautiful up here already. The fire department, Shingle Hollow didn't have any calls, and Green Hill didn't have any calls, so they were all quiet. Temperature was 67. Birthdays, nobody on, well, either one of them this morning. And Maple Creek says get ready to have a party, summer block party, Saturday, July 24th from 6 to 8. Live music, hot dogs, and a magic show. Fun for the entire family. And Tiny Knob Baptist Church says come on out for Vacation Bible School, Monday, July 26th through Friday, July 30th. They are looking forward to Destination Dig. And if you're interested, come on out and bring your children. There'll be a meal served as well at 6 each night. And that's all I got going on this morning.
All right, Tina, thank you very much. You have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you back here tomorrow.
Yes, everybody stay safe. Bye-bye.
That's the Shingle Hollow Report. Now we're going up to Union Mills here in just a moment.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as the spring and summer colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Brenda Kelly is up and at 'em this morning, ready to file the Union Mills report. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning. How are you on this terrific Tuesday morning?
I feel terrific.
Well, I'm glad.
Hope you
Me
do.
too. I'm glad. So you had a real good fourth, huh?
I did. Had a real good one. Sure did.
Did you find your way out Camp Creek the other day?
I finally did, yeah. I got geographically turned around and headed up the wrong road, and I knew I was supposed to turn on Centennial Road, but I was on the other road before I got to Centennial, so I got turned around. So
You was on Hudlow?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, all you had to do was go out there to the little white church just before you get to the clubhouse and hang a right, and you was on Centennial.
Yeah. Well, I in my mind I wasn't thinking about that at the time though, but I was in a
But
hurry.
you
I was in
found
a
your
hurry.
way,
I did. I got there in time to eat, get time to enjoy the fellowship with those good folks. See, there's just a bunch of nice folks up there.
They are. You have to go a long way to beat Steve and Ginger.
Steve and
They're
Ginger,
really
absolutely,
nice. Yeah.
absolutely fine people.
I didn't get out there. I come home from church and fixed hot dogs, and I'd cooked up. We had that big thing Saturday for little David's birthday. Me and his Paw Ray cooked all day long out on the smoking grill. But we had a good time. So
Good.
And I went down to Far City to see the fireworks Sunday night. So that was good.
Was that
I never
good?
seen so many people. Oh my goodness.
Were the fireworks good?
They were good, but we had to wait till almost 11 o'clock.
Really? After the ball game?
Yeah, they had the Owls game. Excuse me, I can't hardly talk this morning. They had the Owls game, and then they had some kind of concert, and we waited, and people left. There was a bunch of people left.
Yeah, I heard the fireworks going off way past 11.
Yeah. So I thought, oh, well, it is what it is. But we stayed and watched them. It took us 30 minutes just to get through Main Street in Far City.
I'm sure. Well, I'm glad people turned out, though. Although it's aggravating to have to wait that long, but it's part of Americana to be on the street and on July 4th and celebrate.
That's right. There was one little lady that was parked beside us. She said, well, I'm going home. And so we told her that they'd be starting in just a little while because they had the ball game and the concert. So she decided to back up and stay. So she stayed and watched them.
Where did you have to park?
We parked up at Kimball's, and that's the best place. Usually we would park down there behind Dollar General at where the cemetery is.
Yeah.
And you can see them, but you have to hold your head up to look up. Up there at Kimball's, you just look straight out and you can see them, and there was fireworks everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everywhere. Everywhere you looked, there was fireworks.
We had them all around our house. The trees blocked it out. I could not see them, but I heard them pretty much. As a matter of fact, all weekend, not just on July 4th. We heard them starting.
That's right, all weekend.
Starting Friday night.
Well, it was a long weekend, so because the 4th come on a Sunday, but and we had a good service at church Sunday, so that was good. And so it was just a good weekend all the way around for us.
Indeed.
It was, yeah.
And we mentioned them, but I want to give another big shout out to the Roops up there. They just wonderful people.
They are. I've always enjoyed whenever I'd go out there to that, but I didn't get to go this time. Like I say, I went to church and come home and had stuff I had to do, and then cooked a little bit of dinner and everything. But I remember the year that Donald died. Steve come by that evening, and they had invited me. I said, Steve, and I told Ginger too. I said, I just can't get there with Donald like he is. I said, I ain't got nobody to stay with him. And after that, they come by with, I never seen the like it food from that dinner.
Yeah.
That just, I just appreciated that so much, and I still remember that.
Good folks up there.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I've got 60 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays today. And in ways of announcement, Polk County Line will be at the Union Mills Learning Center on July the 9th. They have a meal available. It begins at 6 p.m., and the cost of the meal is $5. And the music starts at 7, and there's no cost for the music, but they do have a tip jar available for the band. Then we got a buffet breakfast at the Gilkey School Community Center. Starts at 7 a.m. and goes to 10 a.m. That's Saturday, July the 10th. Adults, $7. Kids, 6 to 12, $3. Kids 5 and under, free, and it's all you can eat. They've got all kind of good stuff on the menu. And then we got, then money goes to help rebuild the old Gilkey School. And other than that, I don't have nothing. So we got a few things going on.
Well, your son sounds like he's doing much better when I talk with him on the phone.
Yeah, he's doing okay. He's got a doctor's appointment this morning and got to get ready and go to that.
Always something to keep us occupied.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's good because an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
That's what I've always heard. Brenda,
Listen, you go to Ellenburg and check on Luther, and we'll catch you later.
You have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is a variety store. Here's why I say that. Cedar shavings, 5.0 cubic feet, $7.99 per bag. They have Pontiac red potatoes, Kennebec potatoes, $18 for a 50-pound. River Run dog food, specially priced. Plenty of horse quality hay. Refill propane, $10.99 for a 20-pound tank. Wrangler sweet feed, $8.69 for the 50-pound bag. Cardinal tissue and paper towels, 6-pack, $4.49. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is the largest farm supply store, and you should come and see how much you can save. 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherford. Now, Ellenboro is our next stop, and that's where we'll find Luther Gilligan this morning. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I guess, up and at him. Good morning, Luther.
Good morning. Always up and at him.
Hey, you're sounding so much better, man.
Well, that's what he said.
Yeah, you sound a whole lot better.
But I haven't done any talking this morning yet.
Yeah. Well, maybe maybe the more you talk, the better it gets, or the less you talk, the better it gets. Which is it?
Hey, we don't know. That's why we don't know what to do. We don't know whether to talk, keep my mouth shut.
Well, you almost sound like your normal self.
Oh, that's sort of muffled anyway. But hey, we're having a good time down here this morning. It's nice and quiet, nothing going on. See, the fire department only had 2 medical calls and had 1 legal control burn. Somebody called them out too. Other than that, everything's quiet this morning. Just a good, peaceful day. Sun's coming up. We're getting ready and going to have a good day. So you have a great day up there, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Thanks, Luther. Keep improving, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Take care now.
Bye. That's the Ellenboro reporter, Luther Gilligan, recuperating pretty nicely, sounds like. Now it's time for birthdays and anniversaries on the program for the 6th day of July, July 6th, 2021. If you were born on this date, let's celebrate. If you were married on this date, let's celebrate. And give us a call. Todd's taking numbers out there, names, and he'll pass them back here to me, and we'll give you a big shout-out. Birthdays and anniversaries for July the 6th coming up next. When you're thinking about eating pizza, think about Granny B's. Of course, you know about the delectable Granny B's Daylight Donuts, but now you can experience the delicious Granny B's Pizza Combo. You heard me right, Granny B's Pizza Combo. Choose from 13 different combinations. What's your preference? Well, order yours Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. And the number to call is 286-9012. Put it in your phone so you'll have it ready to call whenever you're ready for pizza. 286-9012. You'll never go back to the other ones once you've had a Granny B's combo pizza. Oh, sure, it's all right to save a little room for one of Granny B's Daylight Donuts. They're right there on West Main Street, right beside the Shake Shop. You'll find them. Granny B's for delicious meals all the time, and now including pizzas, which you still like to have those subs as I do. You'll find that wheat bread absolutely great. Go by and they'll put on it whatever you want on it. Give you wide choices. Get your bag of chips and some of that sweet iced tea. My. They make you want to go back time and time again. Granny B's. All right, guys, let's hit the theme. Happy birthday. We're celebrating the birthday today of Michael Mosley Lips Mosley of Sandy Moss. Michael Mosley, good morning and happy birthday. Kaylee Perry, 22 over in Forest City, is having a birthday. Jeff Thomas over in Boston is 60 today. And Thelma Elliott also celebrating on this July 6th, 2021. So happy birthday, folks. Hope it's going to be a great one for you. Have many more happy returns. And coming up, Keys to Confident Living. And we'll take you down memory lane with some classic oldies. And also, Sean says he and Lips are not related. You're sort of favored with it. Okay, well, keep that straight. Andrew Tisdale, top of the hour this morning, and stuff to talk about. My Great America with Jim Butch at 9:05 this morning. All straight ahead.
The story is told of a little country boy who wore a thin, ragged coat and worn-out shoes. One bitterly cold morning, he was struggling through deep snow on his way to school. Several large youths who walked nearby began taunting him. "You call yourself a Christian. Well then, why doesn't your God tell someone to give you a warm coat and some boots?" The lad replied, "I think he has, but no one is listening." Our care of the needy is of great concern to God. Jesus talked often of feeding the hungry and clothing the poor. The Apostle John even challenged a person's commitment to God if that person had the means to help a needy person but refused to do it. Jesus didn't teach indiscriminate welfare, but he did teach love and compassion for those who are not able to help themselves. He never wanted us to just live for ourselves, but for others and for him. The needy others are never to be out of our minds, even if we are able to keep them out of our sight. When Jesus said we would always have the poor with us, he intended that we would do what we can to help meet their needs. Is God speaking to one of you about providing some needed hats, coats, boots, or shoes? Are you listening? You may be just the angel in disguise that God wants to use to meet the need of someone else. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
Good morning. Good morning.
ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Tropical storm Elsa not far from the Florida Keys and headed toward the Tampa area. Expected to hit sometime tomorrow. ABC's Trevor Altz in Key West.
Elsa's about 47 miles away from us, but that has not spared us from the pouring rain and winds gusting up to 60 miles an hour. We've been watching these increasingly aggressive waves slamming into the shore and then spilling up over the seawall. There are extensive concerns about flooding as Florida is bracing for a long week ahead.
ABC's Jim Ryan with more from nearby Miami Beach and the continued search for victims of the condo collapse.
Guided by drones, sonar, and specially trained dogs. Specialists from around the world are battling adversity in a desperate attempt to bring closure to the families of the missing.
For 12 days, fire, smoke, and now wind and torrential rain. They are continuing the search of the collapse area.
Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine Cava says Tropical Storm Elsa, centered over the Florida Keys, will make the search effort more difficult for at least the next day. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Miami Beach.
In Des Moines, Iowa, an 11-year-old boy died in an amusement park ride over the holiday weekend. David Jaramillo says his son and the rest of his family were all on the Raging River ride when the raft flipped.
When it flipped over, all of us were trapped in the seats and the seatbelts. We all began to, the water's kind of shallow, so all our heads were just hitting the rocks.
The boy's brother is still hospitalized. A tribute last night across the NHL for 24-year-old Columbus Blue Jackets goalie Matisse Kivlenieks. He was at a party on the 4th of July. Someone was setting off fireworks nearby. Novi, Michigan Police Chief Jason Meyer.
There was some type of a fireworks malfunction which caused 2 mortars to be shot in his general direction.
Kivlenieks tried hard to get out of the way, but couldn't run fast enough. One of them hit him in the chest. You're listening to ABC News.
If the pandemic's taught us anything, it's that the easiest way for germs to get into your body is the nose. We all know how to wash our hands, but how do you clean your nose? For over 2 million Americans, the answer is Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs that cause congestion, colds, and flu, so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. Better yet, Navage is all natural and drug-free. That's why one of America's top respiratory hospitals recommends nasal irrigation to stay healthy, explaining that bacteria and viruses thrive in warm and moist environments and that you can wash away those germs so they don't make your nose their home. Experience Navage at zero risk. Go to Navage.com, buy Navage, and use it for a month. If you're not delighted, return it for a full refund. There's nothing to lose and a lifetime of better breathing to gain. Also available at Target, Walgreens, CVS, Bed Bath, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
Cybersecurity teams are still trying to unwind the damage from a ransomware attack. The hackers targeting a company called Kaseya, which provides IT management software to other companies. So far, it looks like it's made it through to about 1,500 organizations, mostly small businesses. ABC's Josh Margolin says the hackers are demanding all kinds of payments.
They're actually seeking kind of small amounts of money, bite-sized amounts of money. And the reason why is because they actually want the money to be paid. So if you ask some mom and pop shop for $10 million, they have no choice but to say, you know what, we'll have to close up and go into bankruptcy because I can't afford to pay $10 million. But if you're asking me for $45,000, I could probably swing $45,000.
Iran is now accusing Israel of trying to sabotage a nuclear facility near Tehran last month. Iranian officials say no serious damage was done in the attack so far. No comment from Israel on the allegations. After being canceled last year by the coronavirus, the Cannes Film Festival is back and opening tonight.
It's been 14 months since the last film festival in Cannes. The event pushed back due to COVID-19. This year, all attendees will have to present proof of vaccination or of a negative COVID test. Spike Lee will be president of the jury, and some of the most anticipated movies include Leo Carax's Annette and Wes Anderson's The Paris Dispatch. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
This is ABC News.
On our first date, we had masks on and kept 6 feet apart. Now, we're a lot closer.
Just like Cliff and Deb, thousands of singles over 50 found their perfect match on Silver Singles last year.
I feel like I'm 20 years old again, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same way.
Rediscover the magic of dating with Silver Singles, the exclusive community for singles over 50. Sign up today and receive daily matches you won't want to miss at silversingles.com/radio. silversingles.com/radio.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
We're going to see mostly dry conditions over the next couple of days, but we are tracking Tropical Storm Elsa that will bring remnant moisture into our area, especially as we head into Thursday. Showers and thunderstorms will be possible. We could see some heavy rain from this system and isolated tornadoes, especially on the right-hand side of the storm. Highs today, otherwise, we'll head into the lower 90s. We're going to see a mix of sun and clouds. Overnight, we'll fall into the upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Thanks very much, Peter. We can enjoy this beautiful weather another day. We had a nice weekend over the 4th. Now we got another beautiful day today, but tomorrow when it all starts changing. Chance of thunderstorms on Wednesday night, thunderstorms possibly Thursday, showers, Thursday night showers, and a lot of it depends on this tropical storm that's out there. Now Saturday's clearing out of here again, partly cloudy, and Sunday we can have mostly clear skies. We got a chance of thunderstorms develop, about 20% chance on Sunday. But after today, it looks like it's going to be raining and possibly some storms developing in there. But we'll keep our eye on that weather pattern for you. Be sure to stay tuned and listen up. We'll be glad to share that information with you. Well, it's Tuesday morning, and it's Andrew Tisdale Day here on WCAB, right here from the Blue Room. This one being recorded earlier for broadcast at this time. Andrew?
Good morning, Mr. Jim and everyone in Rutherford County. Here's what we want to talk about today. Don't let investments go on vacation. We all want to go on vacation, but we don't need to let our investments go on vacation. So now that we've gained some of this space from the COVID-19 pandemic, summer travel is really heating up. And while we are eager to hit the road, we don't want our investments to do that. We don't want investments to take a break. We need them to work hard for us even while we're gone. So how do we make this happen? Well, here is 4 key needs to keep your investments on track. Well, number 1, they need to know the destination. If you don't know where you want to go, it doesn't matter what path you take because you really don't know where you're going. Well, that's not something that we need to do with our investments. Our investments need direction. They need a path to take. Make sure that your investments know where they are going, because when you step away from vacation, they'll keep moving. Match those goals with your investments. The destination is those goals you've set, whether it's retirement, whether it's a large purchase here in the next 5 years, or whether it's actually just to preserve what you've accumulated. If it's something like this, on the next step, it might be investments for growth. If that's something, look for the long range. Give them a map that not only says go from this stoplight to this stoplight. Give your investments a map that's saying, I want you to take this road for the next few hours to get to this town in this state. And also, make sure that you check your progress over time. Where are they at after an hour on the road? Where are they at after a few days on the road? When you do that, you keep actually a management on side those and making sure they're going to produce exactly what you need. And while you're on vacation, they're still working for you. And when you come back, you're going to be very happy. Y'all have a great day.
Andrew Tisdale, financial advisor with Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing. You can reach the office at 173 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. That phone number is 287-9197, 287-9197. I'll reach Andrew at andrew.tisdale@edwardjones.com. And the website for Edward Jones is www.edwardjones.com. Andrew Tisdale will be back with us next Tuesday morning here on the radio. Now we got some news from here and there coming up next.
It's our 30th anniversary, but you get the gifts. That's right, Carolina West Wireless is celebrating our anniversary and celebrating you in a big way with incredible savings, like $350 off a new iPhone 12 or a $150 credit when you bring in your own device. And as our special gift to you, get an additional $30 off any other device promo in our store. Stop by today and let's celebrate our 30th anniversary together. Carolina West Wireless, celebrating 30, celebrating you. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
On June 20th, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office deputies were dispatched to Coopertown Road at Mooresboro regarding a breaking and entering and larceny that had occurred at the residence. This Coopertown Road, better known as Caroline. The reporting party stated that 2 motorcycles were stolen from an outbuilding at that address. Later that day, deputies received information that the motorcycles reported stolen from Coopertown Road were possibly at 148 Windy Hill Drive in Forest City. Detectives were able to obtain and execute a search warrant at 148 Windy Hill Drive in Forest City, and with the assistance of the Road Patrol Division, located the 2 stolen motorcycles from Coopertown Road. Also located during the search were items reported stolen from a breaking and entering and larceny from a vehicle on Emory Avenue, Forest City, that had occurred back on June 4th. While in the process of conducting the search warrant at 148 Windy Hill Drive, a Forest City resident contacted the sheriff's office to advise that they discovered the ATV that they bought on June 18th was stolen. Deputies met with the reporting party and, through the course of their investigation, learned that it was an ATV reported stolen on June 20th from a residence on Bostic Sunshine Highway. On June 22nd, detectives searched the residence located at 449 Laser Drive in Bostic. They located a still weed eater and still leaf blower that had been reported stolen from a vehicle on Cali Road in Forest City on June 19th. Additionally, they located tools that were reported stolen on May 12th from T&M Auto Sales located on Harris Henrietta Road. On June 24th, detectives executed another search warrant at 148 Windy Hill Drive in Forest City. During this search, more stolen tools from T&M Auto Sales were located and recovered, along with a large anvil that had been reported stolen from a residence on Old Henrietta Road, Forest City, on May 24th. Also located and recovered were more motor vehicle registration plates from Southside Motor Company located on South Broadway Street. Southside Motor Company had reported the breaking and entering and larceny to Forest City Police Department on June 10th. Tyler Lee Weeks and Eddie Franklin Padgett Jr. have been charged and arrested as a result of that investigation. They're repeat offenders and arrested again in a crime spree. Tyler Lee Weeks, age 26, of Windy Hill Drive, has been charged and arrested for breaking and entering and larceny and breaking and entering on Coopertown Road, breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering at T&M Auto Sales, breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering on Old Henrietta Road, breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering at Southside Motor Company, possession of stolen property at Southside Motor Company, and possession of stolen property on Emory Street. Tyler Weeks is currently in the Rutherford County Slammer on a $125,000 bond. Weeks was out on bond for multiple breaking and entering and larceny-related offenses at the time the crimes listed were committed. Eddie Franklin Padgett Jr., age 40, of Laser Drive in Bostic, has been charged and arrested for some of the same offenses: felony larceny, obtaining property by false pretense on Bostic Sunshine Highway. Eddie Padgett Jr. is currently in the Rutherford County Slammer on an $80,000 bond for the charges listed in the report. He also has been assigned a probation and parole hold with no bond as a violation of his post-release conditions. At the time these crimes were committed, Eddie Franklin Padgett Jr. was out on post-release after being released from prison in December 2020. Detectives are currently in the process of meeting with other identified victims of additional stolen property that was located and recovered during the searches of Windy Hill and Laser Drive. More charges are expected after detectives meet with these victims. They seem to never learn their lesson, do they? Just keep going over and over and over. Do the same thing over and over. Get arrested over and over. Well, the filing period for November municipal elections in Rutherford County began last Friday at noon. The mayors of Rutherfordton, Spindale, and Forest City were at the Rutherford County Board of Elections office in Spindale and filed for re-election about the same time in a show of solidarity. The towns of Bostic, Chimney Rock, Forest City, Lake Lure, Ruth, Rutherfordton, and Spindale will have mayor and members of council seat available. Ellenboro will have council seats, aldermen available. Because all municipal races are nonpartisan, there are no primaries. In the municipal elections, which will be held Tuesday, November the 2nd, only registered voters who live within a municipality are allowed to vote. There are no other races on the ballots this fall other than municipalities. If you do not live in the city limits of these municipalities, you will not be voting. If you live in the city limits of these municipalities, your obligation there is to vote. October the 8th is the last day to register to vote in those municipal elections. Early voting will be from October 14th through October 30th at the Board of Elections office on Fairground Road, Spindale. Rutherford County Elections Director Dawn Lovelace says it's hard to predict how many will end up filing as candidates. Sometimes with small towns, there are just a handful of candidates. Some candidates will wait until the last day to file because they make their decision based on who else may be running, and some decide at the last minute. The filing period runs through noon, July 16th. Forest City Mayor Steve Holland, Spindale Mayor Mickey Bland, and Rutherfordton Mayor Jimmy Dancy were the first to arrive at the elections office minutes before the official filing period began. Other folks filing for additional seats include Stan Clements. He filed for the town council as an incumbent. Let's see who else we have. Becky Louise Gillum filed for re-election in the town of Spindale, the unexpired term that she was filling. Ricky Dean Ledbetter of Spindale has filed for election. He is not an incumbent. He's running for that office. And Christopher Sean Moore of Forest City Town Council, he also has filed for re-election for that office. Others have an opportunity to file as they see fit. So that'll be some time to do that. Those of you who like to be mayor or who like to run on town council, there is your opportunity to do that. 16 minutes after 8 o'clock. On June 29th, Foothills Conservancy of North Carolina received a donation of 222 acres in the Thermal City area of Rutherford County from David and Martha Cameron and their son, Rob Messick. This donation of land is the first of a two-part planned gift by the Cameron family. In their estate, the Camerons will bequeath their remaining land to the Conservancy, approximately 101 acres, including 2 home places. The Cameron property is mostly underdeveloped forestry land in a mountainous section of the county that borders private conservation lands through which the Wilderness Gateway State Trail is planned to run. The headwaters of Cathy's Creek flow across the property and continue downstream toward Bostic, where it empties into the Second Broad River. Conservation has always been the Camerons' ideal outcome for their property, so reaching out to the Foothills Conservancy was the next step. The property includes several unique features and rare plants. One of the most significant features is a balanced rock about the size of a van. The Camerons' historical account of the property notes that the rock came down from Harris Mountain during a great flood of 1916 and landed on a smaller rock where it still sits today. According to David, the feature was a tourist attraction after the flood. The couple enjoys living in the midst of nature in the home they built, which they call the Tree House. Rob Messick is an old-growth forest researcher and currently resides in the old house on the property. David is an exhibit specialist for Kid Senses Interactive Children's Museum in Rutherfordton, and Martha is recently retired massage therapist. Wayne and wind from the tropical storm Elsa possibly could be in the Carolinas this week. I'll tell you more about that in just a moment.
Imagine an object of striking beauty with a breathtaking design that grabs your attention and holds you in suspense. It draws you in with an innovative boost of dreams and $100,000 cash power. New Corvette in cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with a top prize of a 2021 Corvette Stingray and $100,000 cash. The ride of your dreams is waiting. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.25. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Smith's Drugs of Forest City will once again sponsor the Meet Me at the Fountain 5K race on July the 24th. And this year's race will be a live event, pending no changes in the current downward trend of the new COVID cases. Go to www.facebook.com/meetmeatthefountain5K for more information and to get sponsorship forms. All forms must be returned by July the 5th. Beneficiaries this year are the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, Yoke Fellow, and the Chase Corner Ministries. And now the soda fountain is now fully open, and Smith's Drugs is no longer offering curbside for the fountain. However, the back door is still locked as Smith's Drugs continues curbside service for the pharmacy only. The COVID-19 vaccination is available Monday through Friday only, and walk-ins are welcome. Again, the soda fountain now open at Smith's Drugs. And don't forget the upcoming 5K race. So get your sponsorship forms at Smith's Drugs in Forest City.
Although requested yesterday be the cutoff date, you may still be able to get that in. Just contact him if you're still interested and failed to get your application form in Well, yesterday was the deadline, but they may, since it was considered a holiday, they may extend that over. Check with them. I'm not saying that's the case, but check with them if you're still interested. Well, the North and South Carolina coasts are expected to see impacts from Tropical Storm Elsa later this week. Elsa, which was downgraded from a hurricane over the weekend, was located 20 miles southeast of Cairo Largo, Cuba, and 140 miles southeast of Havana, Cuba, as of 11 a.m. yesterday. The storm was moving northwest at 14 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour. Tropical storm force winds, which range from 39 miles per hour to 73 miles per hour, extend up to 70 miles from the storm's center. Coastal North Carolina and South Carolina could see tropical storm conditions, including strong wind, rain, flooding, and storm surge on Wednesday and Thursday if the storm continues on its current path. Tropical storm force winds could reach South Carolina as early as 8 o'clock Wednesday morning and North Carolina as early as 8 p.m. Wednesday evening, according to the forecast. The National Weather Service's Wilmington office says winds up to 45 miles per hour are expected over southeastern North Carolina and northeastern South Carolina. Elsa is expected to weaken as it moves over parts of Cuba on yesterday, but slight re-strengthening is possible as the storm moves over the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. We'll watch that pattern for you. Just be sure to stay tuned, be careful, and prepare yourself for it. 21 minutes after 8 o'clock, Sheriff was on with us, gave us a report from the crime-fighting world, and here is Sheriff Chris Francis.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has responded to 116 calls for service. There have been 14 arrests processed at County Jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 189. Among those arrested, Brian Franklin Moore, 48-year-old male of Florida City, was charged with driving while license revoked, no insurance, and possession of meth, received a $5,000 unsecured bond. Mitchell Joseph Martin, 38-year-old of Rothston, was charged with domestic violence protective order and obstructed justice. He was already incarcerated. We'll see a district court judge for these new charges for more bond. Eric Joshua Withrow, 38-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with failure to appear and received a $10,000 secure bond. Roy Stephen Buff, 30-year-old male of Far City, was charged with resist, obstruct, delay, assault on a female, communicating threats, and a separate resist, obstruct, delay. He'll see a district court judge for some of the bond and receive $10,000 for one of the resist, obstruct, delays. Brandon Scott Williams, 29-year-old male of Mooresboro, was charged with 9 counts of failure to appear and possession of meth, received a $20,000 secured bond. Carly Danielle McNeely, 27-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with assault and communicating threats, received a $1,500 unsecured bond. Among our incidents, we had a break-in and larceny on Old Main Street in Mooresboro. There was a case of electric brushes valued at $1,200 and a boat trolling motor that was also taken in this incident. We also had a B&E enlargement to a storage unit. This occurred on US 221 South sometime since December of last year. There was a black iron patio set valued at $300, a train set valued at $100, and a vintage glass antiques valued at $100 that were taken as well. We had a larceny on South Church Street in Mooresboro. There was a Springfield 9mm valued at $400 that was taken. The victim had allowed an acquaintance to come in and spend the night. It was a relative, a friend of hers, and unfortunately, when that person left, so did this Springfield 9mm. And Jim, that's what we had to report at this time.
With an impressive roster of explosive young superstars and the reigning MVP, the Atlanta Braves are showing the East what they're made of.
Swung on and struck out towards deep right field, rising through the sky, back to the wall, bombs away!
Tonight, it's another key National League battle for Atlanta as Freddie Freeman and the Braves take on the Pittsburgh Pirates from PNC Park. Braves Radio's on the air at 5:50 Eastern, 4:50 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. There will be a Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals after Montreal forward Josh Anderson scored bookend goals as the Canadiens fought off elimination. Anderson scored the first goal of the game and the third in overtime to get a 3-2 win against the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 4 in Montreal. Carey Price topped 32 shots to help the Habs send the series back to Tampa Bay. He says his teammates did a fine job of limiting the damage, and it shouldn't be a surprise that they staved off elimination.
A resilient group, obviously, we faced adversity all season long and have responded well. We got a lot of work left to do.
Lightning coach John Cooper says they didn't have much luck against Price.
It's a break here, a break there that just doesn't go your way, and you have to keep fighting through it. And in the end, they got a break, and we couldn't find the back of the net. So no hanging our heads, but I liked a lot of things we did.
The Lightning now lead the series 3-1. They'll try again to wrap it up tomorrow at home. We'll see if that game actually gets played on schedule because of the tropical storm Elsa making its way toward the Florida Gulf Coast. Game 1 of the NBA Finals is tonight. Meanwhile, between the Bucks and Suns in Phoenix, it has been 50 years since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar led the Bucks to their only championship.
It's been crazy back in Milwaukee. I never seen anything like this. To win, a championship for that city would be, the world.
And the Suns have never won a title.
And to have a team full of guys who nobody's ever won it. So when you're in a locker room like that, that's probably the coolest thing because we all sort of figuring it out together.
An NFL linebacker was arrested in his hometown of Wake Forest on Sunday on an older assault charge. Bengals rookie linebacker Darius Hodge charged with hitting a man repeatedly in 2019. This is NCN Sports.
If you still need health insurance, listen up. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina wants you to know that you don't have to pay a lot for a reliable plan. In fact, with new federal subsidies, more people than ever will pay $0 a month. You heard me right, $0 a month. So go to bestwithbluecrossnc.com to get a free rate quote. That's bestwithbluecrossnc.com. Premiums depend on plans available in your area, including subsidies determined by the federal government.
NASCAR legend Richard Petty on why he got his shot.
Talked to my doctor, and he said he would highly recommend that I go ahead and get a shot. You're not only helping yourself, you're helping your neighbors also. I might have been a little bit hesitant to begin with, but after looking at all the statistics, and I don't see anything after you take the shot, everybody seems to get along with it pretty good. So you have a spot, take your shot.
Everyone from teens to seniors can get a COVID-19 vaccine. Find your appointment today. Visit myspot.nc.gov.
An autopsy shows that an NHL goaltender died after he was hit by a fireworks mortar blast on the 4th of July. Teammates of his formative years are remembering him with sadness and fondness.
It's a tough one to swallow for his former teammates.
Family. That's what it is here.
Luke Strand was Matisse Kivlenik's coach at Sioux City, Iowa, where he played junior league hockey 5 seasons ago.
The place he left here was way better.
Number 18, Matisse Kivlenieks.
Kivlenieks was Latvian and played for the national team at the World Hockey Championships this past spring. He played 2 games for Columbus in the NHL, 8 for the American Hockey League's Cleveland Monsters this past season. Peter King, CBS News.
Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
We're going to see mostly dry conditions over the next couple of days, but we are tracking Tropical Storm Elsa that will bring remnant moisture into our area, especially as we head into Thursday. Showers and thunderstorms will be possible. We could see some heavy rain from this system and isolated tornadoes, especially on the right-hand side of the storm. Highs today, otherwise, we'll head into the lower 90s. We're going to see a mix of sun and clouds. Overnight, we'll fall into the upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
What a beautiful day in the neighborhood we are experiencing here this morning. We've climbed 5 degrees since about 5:30 this morning. It's 70 now, warming up to about 91 before it's all over with, and sunny skies. Mostly sunny right today, and dropping back tonight to a little bit cooler than we are right now at 66 for the overnight low. Then tomorrow is when that possibility of the remnants of this tropical storm might hit us, if it does at all, coming up on the North Carolina, South Carolina coast. But we'll have a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon with about a 40% chance of precip. We may not get any of it all. We'll just watch that pattern for you. But right now, It's a beautiful day. Go out and enjoy it as much as you can. It is 70 degrees. My Great America with Jim and Butch coming up 9:05 this morning. Meanwhile, we've got some other things to talk to you about. I thought this was a very interesting story. In a world filled with chaos and bad news, a heartwarming Father's Day tale emerged from Michigan's waterways last month. Jennifer Dowker owns and operates Nautical North Family Adventures, which is a family-friendly shipwreck tour company throughout Michigan's many lakes and rivers. As such, she's no stranger to odd discoveries and secrets. She happily keeps a collection of bottles and other trinkets that she discovered following her journeys. However, something that caught her eye on June 18th probably rises to the top. According to CNN, Dowker was scuba diving into the Sheboygan River, a necessary activity to clean her glass-bottom boat, the Yankee Sunshine, when she noticed an old-fashioned green bottle sitting at the bottom of the river. She said, at first I thought it was just a cool bottle, and then when I picked it up, when I was still in the water, under the water, I could read the word "this" in the paper, Dowker told CNN. It was kind of like, holy smokes, we've got a message in a bottle here. Upon reaching the surface, she showed the bottle to her first mate and a potential client. She told CNN the bottle was about two-thirds filled with water and still had its cork, though everything had deteriorated through the years. Dowker was persistent and fished the note out of the bottle, dated 1926. The note read, "Will the person who finds this bottle return this paper to George Morrow, Sheboygan, Michigan, and tell where it was found?" Sheboygan is a small town, and Dowker knew a few people who had the last name Morrow in the area. Figuring that perhaps a family member might remember George, she posted a picture of the bottle on her company's Facebook page, and she said, I figured we'd track it down pretty quickly and that'd be the end of it. So I kind of forgot about it because it was already late that night and went to bed. When she woke up in the morning, the post had been shared more than 100,000 times. So with thousands of people on the internet waiting to hear the end of the story, Dowker was overwhelmed. What was going through my mind was where I am and even going to find the time to do the research to find the person. I'm a single mom running a small business with 3 teenage boys, but she put it on Facebook and it received thousands. Michelle Premu, George Morrow's daughter, received a call from a stranger who had seen a Dowker's post. Upon seeing that photo, Premu immediately recognized her father's handwriting. I don't do Facebook and I'm just flabbergasted at how this has grown, she told CNN. Premu explained that her father's birthday was in November and he would have been 17 or 18 years old when the note was written. I can just see him going out and doing that because it was his birthday. I don't know for sure, but it just sounds like something he might have done. She elaborated that her dad was also sentimental, and she told CNN that her father had thrown a similar bottle into Lake Huron while his family was camping. George Morrow passed away in 1995, but Premu said the discovery brought back a lot of warmth and good memories just in time for Father's Day. So he's been gone a long time, but it was kind of cool because all this happened on Father's Day weekend. Dowker, to her credit, offered to give the bottle to Premu, but the latter told Dowker to keep it, maintaining that she found it and that would keep George Morrow's name living on. As far as Dowker is concerned, Premu has a free lifetime pass for Nautical North Family Adventures. That article appeared on the Western Journal. Great story there. You never know when you throw a bottle in, with a note in, how long it's going to be there, or how long it's going to last, right? Didn't it used to be a movie about a message in a bottle or something like that? Can't remember what that was all about, but who was it? Jim Croce said, if I could put time in a bottle. This is a fascinating story within itself in that I don't know why you'd want to do it other than just for the notoriety, or how do you feel after you do it. But Joey Chestnut broke his own record over the weekend by chowing down 76 hot dogs. He claimed the annual contest. He celebrated the spirit of 76 on Sunday. No, not 1776, when the Founding Fathers declared their raucous nation free to celebrate freedom any way the American people pleased. As in the 76 hot dogs, the legendary champion of hot dog eating contest gobbled down during the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest on Sunday. For those of you keeping score at home, that breaks down to 22,800 calories in 10 minutes, according to the folks at TMZ. Valerie Gagnon, 45, of Long Island, New York, said it's a staple of New York. This is what the 4th of July is. It's American. It's hot dogs. It was the 14th championship for Chestnut and one better than last year. When in his 10 allotted minutes, he ate 75 hot dogs with buns, of course. Chestnut said there was an added zest to the hot dogs this year after the contest was held without fans last year due to the coronavirus. It just felt good, even if I was uncomfortable having everybody cheer me and push me and made me feel good, he told ESPN. I've been looking forward to this all year long. Chestnut, who is ranked number 1 by Major League Eating, has only lost the contest once since he began competing in 2006, according to the New York Post. He said, according to the Post, I had a pretty good idea I could do it. I just had to stay calm and not panic when things got a little bit rough. It made my body work for it. I feel like I could eat a little more, Chestnut 35 said after the contest, while noting he did feel a little bloated. I'd say. I'm just super happy. In the second half, the crowd pushed me. One virus-inspired change led to the contest being held away from Nathan's flagship store in Brooklyn's Coney Island and neighborhood. Because planned was done while New York's restrictions were still in place, the event was held at Maimonides Park. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct, where minor league baseball is usually played. There were about 5,000 spectators. Michelle Lesko of Tucson, Arizona, won the women's championship, according to the Post. She downed 30 three-quarter hot dogs. You can call her victory an amazing victory. 76 hot dogs with buns. Any takers? Anybody want to challenge that? I like a good hot dog, but only one for me. But I want it loaded. I want it a little chili, mustard, chili and onions, maybe a little slaw on it. Big old glass of iced tea. That works for me. One's enough, not 76. Well, the mountain will come to Muhammad. That's what UK parents with daughters named Alexa are insisting on as a solution to the ridicule their children are receiving from peers because their name is the same as Amazon's smart speaker assistant. One girl went so far as to have her name changed legally. The BBC reports the word Alexis has become increasingly common in recent years as more households use voice-activated smart speakers. Amazon's Echo and Echo Dot use Alexis as the commands you say before giving it instructions or asking a question. However, this is causing problems for people named Alexis, who are frequently on the receiving end of repeated jokes where people shout their names and issue a command. Is anyone who spent much of his life to date being asked, what's your complaint when revealing my last night? I can sympathize, but that's as far as I would go. I never thought of writing Philip Roth or his publisher demanding the name of his Pulitzer Prize winning novel whose main character is be changed. But anyway, that's what they're getting, and they're trying to get Amazon to change the name of the one that asked you. Lexus, what's the route between here and the snack shop? Well, the one I have is Siri on my phone, and she oftentimes gives me directions somewhere I didn't ask for. I think I'm going to disassociate myself with her and go to Alexa. Maybe she knows the routes better than, I don't know. Well, a division of the Methodist Church that's serving the estimated 165,000 members in Britain, this is Britain, they have voted to torch the biblical definition of marriage by adopting not only same-sex unions but informal cohabitation. The Christian Institute's Sharon Kelly said he was greatly saddened by the move that has the group abandoned the teaching of the Christian church held throughout history and still held by the majority of Christians around the world. But the Methodist Church in Britain is throwing it out the window. It was at the group's annual conference where representatives consented in principle to the marriage of same-sex couples by a vote of 254 to 46. Can you believe that only 46 people voted against same-sex marriage? The representatives also adopted that informal cohabitation. The Methodist Church is Britain's fourth largest denomination. Conference attendee Sandra Hayward warned that the decisions were pushing the church further from the Scripture and contrary to the Bible. And Carolyn Lawrence, a former vice president of the conference, said there were those who were remaining faithful to the biblical teaching and would be leaving the conference. Today is a line in the sand for many people and seen as a significant departure from our doctrine, she said. The Institute noted, another minister said, quote, there's a real sense that the church has become an increasingly alien place to be a conservative evangelical. There's a sense that the church is on a direction of travel, which many over the course of this year or next year or two will probably feel unable to sustain, end quote. But votes were based on recommendations from a 2019 report called God in Love Unites Us. Reverend David Hull, head of the Methodist Evangelicals Together, had pleaded for the church members to stay faithful to the Christian teachings on marriage, but they didn't hear that out. They decided they wanted to go with the popular crowd and voted that it's okay. It's okay. That's the cry in our ear every day from the left. It's okay. We got to change our thinking. We got to change our way of doing business, because it's old-timey, old-fashioned to think that marriage is for a man and a woman. It's just old-fashioned to think that way. So we need to sort of bend a little bit, become more flexible, say, well, you know, it's okay. If two men decide they want to be married, or two women decide they want to be married, it's okay. Nobody says anything. They just let it go, and all of a sudden, here we are. But there are still those folks, thank goodness, that are still out there waving the banner of right, waving the banner of this is what's right. This is the biblical concept of marriage. This is what's right about life. And there's still those folks who believe it. And still those folks who are willing to stand up and broadcast it, even though they may be ridiculed from time to time. It's the right thing to do. Meanwhile, changing the subject, face masks cause children to inhale 6 times the safe limit of carbon dioxide, a study has found. Yep. According to the study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, quote, we suggest that decision makers weigh the hard evidence produced by these experimental measurements accordingly, which suggests that children should not be forced to wear face masks. American Medical Association has found that wearing a face mask causes children to inhale dangerous levels of carbon dioxide that becomes trapped behind the mask. The peer-reviewed research letter from Dr. Harold Wallach and colleagues found that the air mask children inhaled contained more than 6 times the legal safe limit for closed rooms as set down by the German Federal Environmental Office. The safe limit is 0.2%. Whereas the air in the mask of children inhaled contained over 1.3% carbon dioxide. The effect was worse for younger children, with one 7-year-old child inhaling air with 2.5% carbon dioxide, over 12 times the safe limit. So that's what the new study out there is about kids wearing masks. I don't know. When are we ever going to get to the real skinny of all that truth? And more and more folks are turning away from what they believe to be the truth from Dr. Fauci. He's lost his credibility in a lot of circles and no longer is the epitome of intellect. Well, according to the most recent release of data by the North Carolina Department of Commerce, the employment rate for Rutherford County sits at 5.9%. That was back in the month of May. The 5.9% is up a tick from 5.8% in April. It's changed since this report came out. Unemployment rates, not seasonally adjusted, increased in 77 of North Carolina's counties in May, decreased in 8 and remained unchanged in 15. Scotland County had the highest unemployment rate at 8.6%, while Orange County had the lowest at 3.3%. 13 of the state's metro areas experienced rate increases, 1 decreased, and 1 remained unchanged. Among the metro areas, Rocky Mount had the highest rate at 6.5%, while Durham Chapel Hill had the lowest at 3.7%. When compared to the same month last year, not seasonally adjusted unemployment rates decreased in all 100 counties. All 15 of the state's metro areas experienced rate decreases over the years. The next unemployment update is scheduled for Friday, July 16th, when the state unemployment rate for June in 2021 will be released. Every Monday morning, we didn't, of course, yesterday morning because it was a holiday, but every Monday morning we have the job market folks on the radio to talk to us about where jobs are. And there are many, many jobs still yet to be filled. And they have job fairs and ask folks to come. And sometimes folks do and sometimes folks don't. But if pending legislation is approved by the North Carolina General Assembly, individual school systems may soon have the authority to determine for themselves whether or not to mandate masks in their schools. The Free the Smiles Act is currently being debated by the legislature. Current law requires that face coverings be worn in public and non-public schools to the extent required by the Strong Schools NC Public Health Toolkit. The Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services has the authority to issue and amend face covering requirements. If the Free the Smiles Act becomes law, it would give local school boards the exclusive authority to determine the use of face coverings and appropriate exceptions to those requirements during the instructional day on the campus of the school for the 21-22 school year. In its current form, the Free the Smiles Act would also give the governor authority to order mask mandates in a particular individual school to reduce disease transmissions in a state of emergency, but he could not issue a statewide mask mandate. In a short meeting of the Rutherford County Board of Education last week, Chairman Philip Morrow briefly touched on the subject, as it was a special call meeting to wrap up some routine end of the fiscal year business. The Free the Smiles Act was not on the official agenda, but they are responding to the possibilities of that. 8:47. My Great America with Jim and Butch coming up 9:05 right now. Let's hear this.
Enjoying music, hanging out with friends, church picnics, fishing, and playing in the creeks and streams of our beautiful mountains. This is summer in Western North Carolina. Getting vaccinated brings us one step closer to enjoying all of that and more. In fact, it's our best shot at getting back to normal. Let's give it a shot, WNC, and bring back summer together. Get vaccinated today. Visit myspot.nc.gov to find your best shot. That's myspot.nc.gov.
There are so many insurance agencies here and there, but to find a dependable agency that you can trust, that would be Maxwell B. Hamrick Insurance Agency. They are your full-service agency offering auto, business, homeowners, health, and life. Maxwell B. Hamrick is an independent insurance agent. Call them today at 286-2384. They care about their customers, and it shows. They're located at 119 Huntley Street in Spindale. Maxwell B. Hamrick Insurance Agency, serving one satisfied customer at a time.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford. Gregory's Original.
Over a half century of family-friendly broadcasting. This is WCAB AM 590 and the new 100.9 FM.
8:48, just minutes away from My Great America with Jim and Butch. For months now, Democrats in Washington have opposed photo ID requirements for potential voters, and they have argued that minorities tend to agree with them. According to a new poll from Monmouth University, that's not the case at all. So don't listen to the negative media on this. Monmouth conducted the poll by phone between the dates of June 9th and June 14th, and it contained 39 questions relating to American elections, and 810 adults in the U.S. participated. The poll's margin of error was plus minus 3.5 percentage points. In one poll question, respondents were asked, in general, do you support or oppose requiring voters to show a photo ID in order to vote? The results were heavily supportive of requiring photo ID. Overall, 80% of respondents said they support the requirement. Only 18% opposed it, while 2% said it depends and 1% said they didn't know. 1% they don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on out there. Well, those numbers by themselves represent a pretty strong case that requiring photo ID is an idea supported by the majority of Americans, in spite of what the negative news would say to us from the left. But a deeper dive into the data reveals even more surprising results. Monmouth found that 84% of respondents who were Hispanic, Black, Asian, or other races but besides white supported requiring photo ID. Only 13% of respondents in that category opposed the requirement. That support was stronger than that of white respondents, of whom 77% they supported the requirement, and 20% said they opposed it. Monmouth also divided the results based on income, which is another metric some leftists use to suggest that photo ID requirements could disenfranchise certain voters. Of respondents who made less than $50,000 a year, 81% supported the requirement, and only 17% opposed it. Meanwhile, 76% of respondents who made $100,000 a year or more per year supported the requirement, and 21% opposed it. The NBC reporter Sahil Kapoor summarized these surprising findings in a tweet Monday. Monmouth poll in general, do you support or oppose requiring voters to show a photo ID in order to vote? Overall, 80% supported. That includes 91% of Republicans and 87% of independents, 62% of Democrats, 77% of white voters, 84% of non-white voters, and 81% of $50,000 income. So that flies in the face of the leftist narrative that requiring photo ID is somehow racist and unfair to minorities. So don't buy that stuff, folks, when they tell you that. That narrative has been the prevailing argument for Democrats who oppose new voting laws in states like Georgia. Parts of our country are backsliding into the days of the Jim Crow, passing laws that harken back to the era of poll taxes when black people were made to wait and sit at the back of the bus. That's their argument. They're trying to tell you. They don't want photo ID because they're finding a way to cheat on the election and vote people that are not supposed to vote. But if you got a voter ID, then you don't have that. The poll people don't have that problem. If you don't have a voter ID, you can't vote. But if you don't have one, anybody can vote. Oh, Joe Bob, whatever his name, on the tomb marker right there, could vote. It has done. That has happened, folks. Don't let them kid you. That's what they don't want to happen. That's why they keep saying, let's don't have voter ID. You have an ID for everything else. Why not this great constitutional thing we have to vote? Why not have an ID? Why not have an ID? Because they don't want it, because they can't manipulate the election if you got a voter ID. So don't let them tell you that most folks oppose it. They don't. Most folks are in favor of it, according to the latest Monmouth poll. So don't let them tell you different. Well, one final note here. I got to get out here for a minute. The president of Malta, George Vella, said he would never, ever sign a bill that permits abortion, an authorization of murder, and would rather resign and go home than see such an evil prescribed in Malta. This is over in Malta, folks. He said, I will never sign a bill that involves the authorization of murder, Vella said, as reported in the Times of Malta. On May 12th, independent MP Marlene Farrugia introduced legislation that would strike 3 articles in Maltese law that prohibits abortion and allow for prison terms of up to 3 years for those who help with an abortion. And the president of Malta said, I will never sign an abortion bill that is an authorization of murder. President Vella said, I cannot stop the executive from deciding that it's up to Parliament, but I do have the liberty, if I don't agree with the bill, to resign and go home. I have no problem doing that. When asked if any exception could be made to allow abortion, Vella added, quote, you have either killed or not killed. There could be no half-death. I'm very clear there are no ifs and buts, end quote. Now, why don't we have people like that to speak up in America? And we do. Some governors have done that, have stepped up. The Malta is just in the Mediterranean Sea, just south of Sicily. It's been inhabited since approximately 5900 BC. Today, the population of 515,000 people is 90% Christian, mostly Catholic. The Constitution of Malta legally recognizes Catholicism as a state religion. And he says, never on my life will I sign a bill that authorizes murder. killing babies. Big round of applause goes to the president of Malta. Folks, hope you'll join me tomorrow morning bright and early. I get here, I'll start the show about 6 o'clock, 6:05, and be here for another 3 hours tomorrow morning. Now, hang around with us, and we'll have My Great America with Jim and Butch. And Butch is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm going to take you down memory lane just a second while we freshen up, and we'll be back right after this.
From the county seat in Rutherfordton to the foothills of the Carolinas, you're listening to the best of both worlds.
ABC News.
I'm Sherry Preston. Tropical storm Elsa hitting the Florida Keys and inching up towards Florida's west coast. Forecasters say it could bring major flooding and wind gusts of up to 60 miles an hour. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z is in North Reddington Beach.
Impacts will be heavy rains and flash flooding could be a threat, tornadoes, and then that push of water, especially in Tampa Bay. We saw yesterday dozens of people at one site picking up sandbags, and they need it because when they get a push of water and then on top of it close to a half foot of rain, you can have significant flooding problems.
They won't get a direct hit in Miami Beach, where the search for victims of the condo collapse in Surfside goes on, but the storm has already begun impacting the job that teams are doing there. As the Delta variant of the coronavirus leads to more COVID infections, especially where vaccination rates are low, the White House continues pushing to get more shots in Americans' arms. The ABC Chief White House correspondent Cecilia Vega with more on what President Biden has been saying.
He wants to show the progress that's been made in this fight against COVID, but he and his team are also acknowledging that this July 4th holiday, it wasn't exactly what they'd hoped it would be. They really wanted this to be the breakthrough moment of the summer, the moment where they could declare freedom from the virus, where restrictions could be lifted as America hit that 70% vaccination rate. America is falling slightly short of that. It's at 67% vaccinated right now.
It's vaccinated with at least one shot. Only about 55% of adults in the U.S. are now fully vaccinated. The family of an 11-year-old boy is in mourning this morning after he was killed in an Iowa amusement park ride over the holiday weekend. It happened at Adventureland outside Des Moines. David Jaramillo was on the Raging River ride with his family, including his son Michael, when their raft flipped.
When it flipped over, all of us were trapped in the seats and seatbelts. We all began to, the water's kind of shallow, so all our heads were just hitting the rocks.
You're listening to ABC News.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-401-6681. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681. 800-401-6681. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
Cybersecurity experts now think about 1,500 small to medium-sized businesses have been caught up in what may be the single biggest ransomware attack ever. It's being linked to a Russian group, the hackers demanding a total of about $70 million to unlock everything. A Texas man is dead after shooting first at a TV news crew and then at police officers. ABC's Dennis Foley has the story from San Antonio.
Dylan Collier with ABC affiliate KSAT-TV was talking to victims of a house fire in San Antonio when they yelled a family member had guns.
Looked, and sure enough, he had two large handguns, fired a couple of times.
He, his photographer, and the victims, who were the shooter's family, all ran away. The suspect then barricaded himself in another property a block away. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus said the man then went after the police on the scene.
Started shooting at them. 5 officers returned fire, and he is deceased in the backyard.
It's not clear why the man was shooting at the TV crew or his own family. Dennis Foley, ABC News, San Antonio.
Police in Georgia still looking for the man responsible for 3 deaths. Investigators say a pickup truck ended up in a sand trap on a golf course north of Atlanta over the weekend. The driver killed the club golf pro and then took off. 2 more bodies were found in the back of the truck. And a work done by Picasso that sat in the closet of a home in Maine for decades has sold at auction for $150,000. The painting had passed through the hands of several members of the same family. This is ABC News.
If the pandemic's taught us anything, it's that the easiest way for germs to get into your body is the nose. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs that cause congestion, colds, and flu, so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. Experience Navage at 0 risk. Go to Navage.com, buy Navage, and use it for a month. If you're not delighted, return it for a full refund. There's nothing to lose and a lifetime of better breathing to gain. Navage, Navage.
I'm Sherry Preston.
We're going to see mostly dry conditions over the next couple of days, but we are tracking Tropical Storm Elsa that will bring remnant moisture into our area, especially as we head into Thursday. Showers and thunderstorms will be possible. We could see some heavy rain from this system and isolated tornadoes, especially on the right-hand side of the storm. Highs today, otherwise, we'll head into the lower 90s. We're going to see a mix of sun and clouds. Overnight, we'll fall into the upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
73 degrees, currently under sunny skies. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Another great getting up morning, folks. Going to get up to about 91, so get out there now and enjoy it while you can before the heat wave comes through. And the storm comes in maybe tomorrow night. If that tropical storm has any effect to us at all, it'll be probably starting tomorrow night. It's 9:05. This is WCAB Rutherfordton.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, Butch, welcome back to the Blue Room of WCAB.
It's so good to see you, Jim. Let's get your microphone where it needs to be there. It's going to be a warm day today, but you know what? I came home just so grateful, that God and His plan has me planted here in Rutherford County, and that WCAB closing in on our 90th program. Wow. Together, that God has me here with you every Tuesday and Thursday, unless I'm out on the road. And what's happened is these different places that I've gone, we've got a little band of people that are now listening from other states, and they love to go online and see us live. And we just want to make sure we continue to stay true to our mission, which has been to bring practical, encouraging insights about what God's doing in the world and why we don't need to despair. Jim, you told me a story right before we came on the air here that was so encouraging to me. Just retell it real quickly. We won't use any names, obviously, but it speaks to the fact that we've got to be, as Scripture says, instant in season and out of season to bring the hope that's in us. And you had something happen right here at the station while I was gone.
One day last week, young fellow lives up the street there, I think. He stopped in. I have a couple of pallets beside the building. He came in with officers of wanting those, if I'd sell them to him. I told him he could have them. But he began to talk about how much he wanted to get off drugs and alcohol, and we talked and had a chance to witness to him a little bit. And he said he knows about the Lord, he knows about Scripture, and Jesus being the Son of God. He knows all of that, but he said, I keep dragging myself down. And so he wanted me to pray with him there in the office lobby, so I did, and we talked, encouraged him that he needs to find different friends. He admitted his friends were one dragging him down, even to his fiancée. He said, she keeps dragging me down. I said, well, now it's time for you to find some new friends. They're out there that would encourage you and lift you up and not drag you down. He said that's what he needed to do. So I hope it does. I hope it had an effect on him. I haven't seen him since, but I was glad he came out. I was glad I was here. Didn't know who he was when he walked in. When we have strange people walking in the front door, you get a little cautious, but...
Right, and some are even guests that come.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Jim, that is so good. That is so good. We're called to be light in life wherever we are, and if he comes back, what I'll tell him is, your life will change only at the point that you're born again, that the Spirit of the living God comes in and you believe and receive. And for people that deal with any kind of addiction, I know this is not the direction of the program, deal with an addiction, you need to know that there is deliverance that can happen from that. I share in my testimony, it's been part of my church radio program over at Word of Faith Fellowship, that later in my life, not knowing what to do with a lot of pain that was coming from life circumstances, I became an alcoholic. And to God be the glory, that's completely changed in my life. And even recently, I was down in Dallas, Texas, going through that huge airport, at the DFW airport, and I remembered places, bars there that I'd come in from a long trip and reward myself by saying, you know what, I've been dispensing wisdom and insight and consultation to ministries mostly, and before I head home, and manage the details of 4 small children. I'm just going to go ahead and reward myself over in that corner, and to be able to walk by places and say there is no pull on my life.
Good.
That demonic influence in my life is gone, and it's gone forever.
Good.
To God be the glory, and that's the light and life we can bring anyone, anywhere. Like in Mark chapter 5, it makes it very clear. Jesus encountered that Gerasene demoniac and 1,200 demons in him, but there was enough will left in that person that lived in the tombs to step towards Jesus. And we know it doesn't matter what state a person is in. It can be a homeless person on the street, or it could be a congressman or congresswoman in deep despair and sin up in Washington, D.C. God's grace, mercy, salvation, and deliverance is there with his arms open wide as long as we cry out with integrity and with passion and with desperation. Jesus will be there for us, and that's what we need in this world that is just staggering, Jim, from one side of the road to the other, like a drunken sailor wondering what to do.
I know on a couple of occasions when you have been here, we've had even folks come by as guests. We're having struggles in their life, or illness, cancer, or difficulty facing tomorrow kind of thing, and you've been able to counsel them outside in the lobby while I was doing the show. And people ask me sometime, are you a Christian radio station? No, we're not a Christian radio station. We're a radio station run by Christians. And with that mantle, we have to open ourselves up to what happens if somebody comes in and needs counseling, needs prayer, then we have to be there for them, and not wave a banner, hey, we're the Christian station around the camp. We're not. We're a station run by Christians, and we're in the world but not of the world.
Right, that is so good. And I just real quickly, I've had some old associations, past associations, who knew me as a global marketing, communications, and capital formation consultant, and they'll ask me, Butch, what are you doing these days? Because they remember a Butch that was always flying somewhere and, getting custom-made suits and living a very different life than I live now. And I tell them I'm a minister. I said this to somebody recently in Virginia where I was just up there with my mother, and they said, well, how big's your church? And they immediately thought, minister in that way. But, at my church, we're all given the mantle, because God's given us the mantle, to be a minister wherever we are. And we cannot ever lose sight of the fact that God is in the details, and everything matters. Every encounter that you have at the grocery store, every time you go to Walmart, anytime you're going anywhere, if you're somebody who's a follower of Jesus and you take seriously the life and the calling, the holiness, and living a godly life, you don't know when you're going to be called into action and service. And you know what? In the spirit of that, we're by the way, today's going to be kind of a potpourri. It's going to be a salad bar of different things that we'll pick through together. But I had to go get a battery this morning, and so I went to RS there on Railroad Avenue, and they stay busy. They got a great business going, don't they?
They sure do. Got a great business, good people.
Yeah, and good people. But I went to check out an Interstate Battery, by the way, and I actually spent time with Norm Miller, that was the CEO of Interstate Battery down there in Dallas. Wonderful company. They were a company, by the way, that pioneered the concept of corporate chaplains, and so they have in their corporate headquarters a handful of chaplains that are there just to help employees that are dealing with life changes, divorces, death, and the like. So I got an Interstate Battery, which was great. But as I checked out, Jim, there was a little King James Bible that's wrapped, and a little bracelet that says, "Smile, Jesus loves you." And I have no idea who put that there. And they have no idea that I was going to mention this morning. But, in a practical little way, somebody wanted to make sure that somebody knew that God's Word is God's Word, and they can be encouraged and find hope, health, healing, and deliverance from it. So I wanted to mention that this morning.
Great outreach.
It was just powerful. It reminded me of the Gideons, which you and I have talked about.
And you mentioned Interstate Batteries. I remember, and Paul Harvey, Interstate Batteries used to be one of Paul Harvey's sponsors for years and years on his radio program. And I remember him talking about what a fine company they were.
Yeah, they're a great company. They do great things. I guess their batteries are a little more expensive, but, it's like Ford and Chevy people. There are people that just, believe in their Interstate Batteries. Speaking of Paul Harvey, because we launched this program in the spirit of his rhetoric and his heart, he said one time, and I like this, Jim, he said, ever since I made tomorrow my favorite day, I've been uncomfortable looking back. And some people look back so much, they get stuck in the quagmire, poor decisions, difficult seasons in life. It even tells us in Scripture, the Apostle Paul, forgetting what's behind, press on to the high calling. Each and every day we're called as individuals and as a nation to press on to the high calling. The high calling is not our agenda. It's not our opinion. It's what God has to say about things. And you know what? I was so encouraged this morning when I came in to realize, I don't know what it is about Jim, but he stays tenacious. You were energized this morning talking about all the things in the culture that we can't step back and say, like you were suggesting, we can't step back and say, well, that's somebody else's problem, or it's too far gone, or there's nothing we can do. All of those are messages that are attacking the minds of people, followers of Jesus, who ought to be engaged in the battle. And so I feel like whenever I come here, you've got pots and pans and you're hitting them, and it's clanging the alert out there, and we need to, don't we?
We do, absolutely do, and I hope folks will, excuse me for I had to clear my throat a little hoarse this morning. I've talked too much already this morning.
Okay.
But it's a time for folks to not be afraid to step up to the plate. I believe you got to step up to the plate, and to recognize all those issues that are being painted over as, oh, it's okay, it's fine, don't worry about it, it's fine. It's not okay.
It's not okay. And some friends, I had the opportunity years ago to go to Australia and speak at a conference in Sydney and Melbourne, so I know some people that are followers of Jesus there. And one of the things they're fighting with right now is in New South Wales, which is one of the provinces, the health department came out with a guideline recently saying places of worship, Jim, are considered a high-risk setting for COVID due to the nature of activities that take place within the space of a church, such as singing, chanting, and congregating for long periods of time. Even when people, this is the government's language in that province, even when people attend for private prayer, they are potentially in the same room as others for an extended period of time. And they're telling people in this province, you can't sing. You can't sing. And you know what? There comes a point where enough is enough. Yes. And we never suggest violence. We never suggest things that are in the spirit of that, which is really demonic, a violent kind of response. But we do remember the founding fathers when it was said, extremism in defense of liberty is no vice. And we have a whole lot at stake here. I've got 7 grandsons, young grandsons. And God forbid on my watch, Jim, that I become passive or indifferent or say somebody else will take responsibility for that. Somebody else is me.
That's right.
And you. And that's what the clarion call is each and every day. Now, Jim, today's July 6th, right?
That's right.
You know what today is?
July 6th.
Okay. There are days of the year that have different people and different acknowledgments. You know what today is, July 6th is?
No.
Today, July 6th, Jim Bishop, is National Fried Chicken Day.
I love this
Okay,
day.
now, this is your opportunity. Don't take too much time, but I want you to take a minute or two and just describe what fried chicken means to you.
Oh, I grew up on fried chicken.
You did?
That was our Sunday ritual.
Did your mother have a special way that she cooked it?
I don't know how she cooked it, but it was always fried.
Okay.
And it was all the pieces. It wasn't the breast, just by the breast. It was the whole chicken. And I have helped my dad go out into the backyard and catch a chicken, chop that chicken's head off, help pluck it, and singe it, and take it into Mom, and she'd fix that chicken for dinner.
You cut the chicken's head off?
Yes, with an axe.
Okay, all the animal lovers right now, we just want you to know Jim's got many sides to his personality. There are people that just believe in their family recipe for all sorts of things. Barbecue, fried chicken. Do you have a particular way that you like it? You like the way your mom did it?
I do. I like fried chicken. I don't eat fried very much anymore.
Yeah.
Faye bakes it in the oven sometimes, but Mother makes it. Boy, I had it just a little crusty, and then the leg was always my piece, chicken.
Yeah.
So I could hold it, I guess, because I was a little boy. That's my favorite piece of chicken, was the chicken leg.
Okay, now, folks, you've heard it here first. Jim Bishop has said his favorite piece of chicken was the chicken leg. Now, I do need to ask you this. I looked in the refrigerator when I came in this morning. For the life of me, I cannot figure out what direction it's going. I saw protein shakes. I saw a cake at the bottom there. There's a little cup that's got some candy bars that I think I left. There's seltzer water. There's apple juice. And there's a lot of other unhealthy stuff that's in there. So how would you describe the direction from a health standpoint that WCAB is going, Jim? Because I can't discern it from the refrigerator.
You know, there used to be a little song out. Sometimes I feel like a nut, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like eating healthy, sometimes I don't.
Okay.
So we got all the varieties back there.
Okay, well, like we say at my church, we'll get a hold of that. Okay, we'll get a hold of that together. Let's hold each other. We talked one time about the Pooch Report. Let's make sure that we're, it says in Scripture that our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit, and the living God, if we're born again, inhabits us, the Spirit of God. And so we need to be healthy. So let's hold each other accountable.
In all honesty, I really don't know who that belongs to back there. I don't know. When you said that to me, I was surprised to hear some of the things that are back there because I don't even know.
Okay, well, maybe you can have a staff meeting after I leave and get a hold of all of that. You know what else today is? Today is National Mechanical Pencil Day.
Really?
Yeah, do you know, I'll share this. When I was in grade school, we had a box that all of my grade school items were in. I had my protractor. I had my, well, actually it was a little later than that, maybe 5th or 6th grade. Protractor, ruler, big rubber erasers, pencils, and it was in a box. Mm-hmm. It may have been I'll say the cigar box, but it was a box. But I remember distinctly the day I saw somebody that was in an older grade with a mechanical pencil, and I wanted one. And I'm sure that was sin. I coveted it. But, today is National Mechanical Pencil Day. And do you remember friends that used to have the plastic protectors?
Oh, yes.
You do?
Yes.
Did you have one of those?
I don't think I ever had one. But
okay, it was mostly in college physics majors that had those, and they had those like soldiers, their mechanical pencils lined up there. So today is National Mechanical Pencil Day, and today is also, I cannot believe we've got a day to celebrate this, because I'm somebody that's been delivered from it. Today is National Workaholics Day.
Really?
They actually have a day for that. So that's not a cause for celebration. It's a cause for people to say, hey, I need help and hope. And the peace that God gives us causes us to be led, not driven. For so many years, and I share this in my testimony, Jim, I was like an Elon Musk rocket that had seeming unquenchable fuel, and the rocket was always going. And that's not what God's called us to. He's called us to a Sabbath. He's called us to be led, not driven. So for all the people who are workaholics, find the hope that you can only find in Him. And then today, in 1865, the Salvation Army was formed. And this is particularly dear to me because I come from a Salvation Army background. My grandfather, by the way, William Maltby, Colonel William Maltby, who passed away in 1979, he was born in 1900, wrote a song, a number of songs. He was a songwriter well known, called Christ is the Answer, and that's now sung in over 140 countries around the world. It's one of the favorite hymns of the Salvation Army, and a lot of people don't realize the Salvation Army is a church.
Yes.
The core of a Salvation Army is a church where you have people that come and parishioners and preaching and the like. And so he wrote a song that I'm going to give you a backstory on real quickly. My family deals with a genetic illness called Huntington's disease, which is especially difficult. It's what killed my dad. It's killed my grandmother, my sister 3 years ago in June. And at the point that my grandfather, Colonel William Maltby, learned that his wife had this illness and knew there were no treatments and no cures, he sat down one evening and penned the song, Christ is the Answer. That's the backstory that I know personally, because that was my paternal grandfather. And the words to that song, sung around the world now in Salvation Army Corps, is Christ is the answer to my every need. Christ is the answer. He is my friend indeed. Problems of life my spirit may assail. With Christ my Savior, I need not never fail. For Christ is the answer to my every need. And that was my grandfather who penned that at the point that he knew that his wife was going to die with this illness. So today is the anniversary of the Salvation Army being formed. Now, Jim, we haven't talked in a while about our presidents and their faith commitment. I've been watching closely just to see what's happening in the political marketplace. And, we have a lot of people that invoke the name of God that don't really know him. And there are speechwriters that will sometimes say to a political figure or an industrial figure, why don't you just go ahead and put God's name in there, and people will say, oh, that's great that he said that. But when we look back on American history, there's something profound that tends to happen to presidents, especially when they go into the White House, and for all the things that we are grieved about with our current president, Joe Biden, and with the vice president, we need to be crying out to God to get to their heart. Because God could do it. Jesus came and died for everyone. And there is a point where it says in Scripture there are people that step over the line and God will compel us. My pastor and I were talking about this recently. God will say to us, don't pray for them anymore because they've stepped over a line. But only God knows where that is, and he'll tell us. But in the meantime, it's important for us to keep banging the drum that America is a Christian nation. We're not going to be apologetic about that. The Judeo-Christian foundation for our nation is the thing that makes us distinct. And as George H.W. Bush put in a speech one time, it makes us that shining city on a hill. We are a nation that the world depends on. And the great experiment of a republic founded on biblical principles is one that has implications for the whole world. We're a humanitarian nation. We're a nation that has sent out missionaries to the world. We're a nation that when crisis happens, we're quick to say, how can we help? And so I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised a bit to read these words from one of our presidents in the past, and I'll tell you who he was in the end because it'll shock a few people. The country was founded by men and women who were dedicated or came to be dedicated to two propositions. First, a strong religious conviction, and secondly, a recognition that this conviction could flourish only under a system of freedom. I think it appropriate that we pay tribute to this great constitutional principle, which is enshrined in the First Amendment of the Constitution, the principle of religious independence, of religious liberty, of religious freedom. But I think it is also important that we pay tribute and acknowledge another great principle, and that is the principle of religious conviction. Religious freedom has no significance unless it is accompanied by conviction. And therefore the Puritans and the Pilgrims of my own section of New England, the Quakers of Pennsylvania, the Catholics of Maryland, the Presbyterians of North Carolina, the Methodists and the Baptists who came later, all shared these two great traditions, which like silver threads have run through the warp and woof of American history. No man who enters upon the office to which I've succeeded can fail to recognize how every president of the United States has placed special reliance upon his faith in God. Every president has taken comfort and courage when told that the Lord will be with thee. He will not fail thee nor forsake thee. Fear not, neither be thou dismayed. While they came from a wide variety of religious backgrounds and held a wide variety of religious beliefs, each of our presidents in his own way has placed a special trust in God. Those who were strongest intellectually were also strongest spiritually. Let us go forth to lead this land that we love, joining in the prayer of General George Washington in 1783, that God would have you in his holy protection, that he would incline the hearts of the citizens to entertain a brotherly love and affection one for another, and finally, that he would most graciously be pleased to dispose us all to do justice, to love mercy, and to demean ourselves with the characteristics of the divine author of our blessed religion, without an humble imitation of whose example we can never hope to be a happy nation. The guiding principle and prayer of this nation has been, is now, and forever shall be, in God we trust. Folks, that was a speech given in February 1961 by President John F. Kennedy. And so for those of you who want to rewrite history, for those who have forgotten history, for those who've never taken the time to understand our history, let it be said again today on My Great America with Jim and Butch. We are unapologetically committed to history that does not change. You can try to rewrite the textbooks, but the book of books, the eternal Word of God, makes clear how our nation was birthed and the trajectory of it going forward. And as long as you and I have breath, Jim, every Tuesday and Thursday on My Great America with Jim and Butch, that will be the clarion call that we have to everyone.
Amen. God bless America.
God bless America.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.